Yeah, so good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Mwangi. I'll be taking you through this unit for web development.
Yes.
And yeah, we're supposed to have this class every morning, every Friday morning. Yeah, from 8 to 11. I'll be taking you through this class, Mr. Mwangi. Yeah, I hope you have seen the timetable every Friday. Yeah, I still be having another class for advanced computer support. Immediately after this. Have you seen it? Have you seen the timetable?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for this unit, I will start by
Yes.
giving you the objectives of this unit. Yeah, or the objective of the topic. Because now our first topic is supposed to have a introduction to the internet. It's supposed to have a introduction to the internet. You're supposed to be having that introduction to the internet. And now one of the objectives now is supposed to understand the meaning of the word what internet. You're supposed to know the various terminologies that are used in the what in the internet. The various terminologies. Still is supposed to know the requirements of connecting to the internet and the services and the various services which are provided by the what by by the internet. Still, you're supposed to know the advantages and the disadvantages of the internet. And lastly, you're supposed to know the internet protocols and the what we call the client server architecture. So these are some of the objectives of the topic. Yeah. So I was saying yes. So you're supposed to have the objectives of the topic. And I know now this term internet is not a new term to me. Is it true? Is it true, Derek? Derek, have you come across the term internet before? Hmm? And Derek, I can't hear you. I am not able to hear you. Hmm? Derek. Hmm? So I'm saying I hope this is not a new term to use. Is it true, the term internet? Now, whenever you hear the term internet, there is the worldwide. That is the global interconnection of millions and millions of computers which have been interconnected worldwide. Now, and there's a big difference between the word internet and the word network. So you have to be very, very careful because you have said that internet is that global system or that global interconnection of millions and millions of computers worldwide to form what you call the World Wide Web. And there's a big difference between internet and what internet network. In an organization, you're gonna be having a network, but there is no what internet. And now, before you have that internet, there are some of the requirements you're supposed to be knowing for connecting to the internet. And one of the requirements we know is what we call an ISP. An ISP is a company that provides what the internet services. For example, we can have like Safaricom. Safaricom is one of the main ISP in this country. It is able to provide what that internet service. Still, we can have what we call the fiber. It's still another ISP, and still we can have what we call the Zuku. These are some of the companies that provide what the internet services. Then, still you can have another requirement of connecting to the internet. We must have what we call a terminal. A terminal is any device with a display screen and a key and a keyboard. In device which has two things, they must be having a keyboard and a display screen. For example, a computer is a what is is a terminal. Still, a smartphone can be a what a terminal. It has these two things. We must be having the keyboard and what the display screen. So these are some of the requirements of connecting to the internet. Still, you can have what we call a communication software and have a communication software. These are the programs that provide us for in easy accessing of the information. The programs that provide a simple and easy way of what accessing the information anywhere in the world. In some of the application softwares we have, you can have what we call the Opera Mini, is you can have what we call the Internet Explorer, we can have what we call the Google Chrome, we can have Mozilla Firefox. So these are some, for example, in case you want to access information concerning ZTech, you must be having a browser or the communication software, the Opera Mini. In case you want to access information concerning maybe the history of web development or the history of maybe a certain aspect, you must be having a browser. So you must be having that communication software. Now, still, another requirement of connecting to the internet is what we call the modem. And the modem means two things. Is what? Demodulator. Now, the work of a modem now it is to convert incoming digital signal to analog. That is the purpose of a modem. It is to convert incoming becoming digital signal to analog. So that now this signal can be transmitted over what? Audio and telephone line, for example. In case now you have a digital signal in that modem. Now the computer can only use what? An analog signal. So it has to be converted. That is what we call modulation. Because we say the modem has two things. It has the first part modulation. The second part we have what? The modulation. Now, what is the modulation now? The modulation is the opposite of what? Modulation. In the modulation, you have to convert back now the analog signal to digital. That is what? The modulation. You convert back the analog signal to digital signal. That is the modulation. So that is another requirement of connecting to the internet. The modem. Then still, we can have the username and the password. We can have what? The username and the password. For example, in case you're connecting to a Wi-Fi, you must be having the Wi-Fi username. Still, in case now that Wi-Fi is protected by using what you call the Wi-Fi protect access, you must be having a password. Because now, most of the Wi-Fi, they must have a password to protect even the users. Because now you know nowadays hacking can take place even in our Wi-Fi. So every time you're connecting to a Wi-Fi, you have to ensure it is all secured. So you must be having the username, the password. Still, we can have what we call a telephone line or the cables. Now, the work of this telephone line, they allow the flow of data from the IS to the destination. For example, we can have what we call the fiber optic, and it's very, very fast. The optic. You can have what you call the coaxial cables, though nowadays you don't use the coaxial cables for the data transfer. You can have what you call the most common cable that is used even in organizations is what you call the PCDP cable. So these are what the three telephone lines that are used to do what? To allow the flow of data. We have the coaxial cable, we have the PCDP, and you know the PCDP has two cables. We have what we call the shielded and we have what unshielded to prevent that electromagnetic what interference. So these are some of the requirements of connecting to the internet. So up any question up to that point, Derek? Derek, have you understood? Yes, Derek? That is good. What about Jerry? So were you,
Yes.
were you able to understand some of the requirements of connecting to the internet?
Yes.
Yeah, because we have said we have the ISP, we have the terminal, we have the telephone line, we have the communication software, we have the username and the password, and we have the modem. And now the modem, actually we have two types of modem. We can have the wireless modem, yes, we can have what? We have the wireless and we have what we call the internal modem. Even we have the external modem. And we have said the work of the modem is to do what? Carol, Clearing, what have you said? The modem. It converts what? Incoming what?
Incoming signals to analog.
Analog. So that now it can be transmitted over what? Ordinary telephone line. So that now it can be transmitted over what? Ordinary telephone lines. So these are some of the requirements of connecting to the internet. But now you'll always come across the terminologies which are used in the internet. The terminologies which are used in the internet. Now, if you have come across the term homepage somewhere, you come across the term homepage somewhere, Derek, and if they cannot hear you, Derek, your mic is off. They can't hear you. Derek, yeah, at least now I can hear you because we'll be answering some questions. Are together? Yeah, so I'm saying, I hope you have come across some terminologies like what is the homepage, what is the website, what is a web server, what is a web link. Is it true? Yeah. So I want now, the next subsection, after discussing the requirements of connecting to the internet, I want to discuss now the various terminologies that are used in the internet. The various terminologies. And one of the terminologies you always come across is the term homepage. Is it true? The term homepage. Now, whenever you hear the term homepage, this is a page that is displayed every time whenever you open a website. The You're saying that the same is you're supposed to come up with a system. Altogether, and that system must be having the home page. Altogether, they must be having the home page. So we have said that the home page is the page that is displayed every time whenever you open a website. Then another terminology that you always come across in this unit is what we call a website. That collection of what interlinked what pages. So a website is a collection of web pages which are stored in a web server. For example, like the Ztech website is being stored in a certain server. That is a website. That collection of pages. And these pages now they must be interlinked with what we call the hypertext, and we have the hyperlink. That is our website. And for example, let me just use the Ztech website. We have the home page, you can have the gallery, you can have the contact. That is our website. Then another terminology you always come across is what you call a web server now. Because we have said that that website it must be stored in a web server. It must be stored in the web server. So whenever I talk about what a web server, this is a computer that controls and contains information other clients in a network. That computer that controls and contains information of other clients, or it contains the resources of other clients in a network. And you can have various types of web servers. You can have a file server, you can have a print server, you can have internet server, you can have dedicated servers, you can have database servers. So these are some of the servers we have. Still, we can have a terminology, we can have what we call now a bookmark. For example, in case you have an interesting web page, a certain page in the website, there is a way you can bookmark what that web page or that page. Why it is your favorite page. So a bookmark is a list of interesting pages which are referred to as what? As a favorite. A list of interesting pages which are referred to as what? The favorites. Derek, Luz, are you able to hear me? Then you can have a web page now. A web page. So a web page now, it is that internet document that is designed using what we call the hypertext. That internet document that is designed using what the hypertext. For example, if you cover web one hereby, you're able to create a web page using what the HTML. That is a web page. Then you come across the term World Wide Web. I think you have ever seen that in every site must be having the www, the wide what, the World Wide Web. Now this one is a collection of information, resources. You can have even pictures and sounds in the internet. And now this information, these resources, they must be interlinked together to form what we call now the World Wide Web. Actually, the World Wide Web was invented by there is a philosopher called the Tim Berners. He's the one who invented the World Wide Web. Then another terminology we always come across in the internet is what we call a host. The host. And now for the host now, how it can be in a computer, which is used to transfer data on the internet. And you come across the term HTML in this topic, HTML, the hypertext transfer markup language. And you know now what is HTML. And HTML is a what? A coding language. It is a coding language. Derek, hmm? Derek,
Yes,
are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, that is good because I can see you have a problem with your network. Yeah, that is good because you have seen now that the HTML is a what? That markup language that is used to code. I together. I think you covered I think you use the HTML in your web one. Is it true? Then you can have a terminology now the hypertext now the hypertext, and there's a difference between the hypertext and what hyperlink. So hypertext now is that text on a web page that is able to link one document or one page to another. That text on a web page that links one document or a web page to another. Actually, now even the hypertext can be very small as a letter or a word, or even it can be big, the text of a page. It all depends with the programmer. Then still you come across the term an FTP, an FTP, the file transfer protocol. Now the FTP now is a method that allows the user to transfer data between two computers. That is what we call an FT and FTP. So these are some of the terminologies you always come across in the internet. Still, you can have the rest of terminology, what we call the video conferencing. Like now we're having what? The video conferencing. We're able to conduct meetings remotely together. That is what we call video conferencing. In video conferencing, we do not have the physical contact. We just have what? The virtual contact. Now, the next subsection, I want to discuss the various services which are provided by the internet. The service is provided by the internet. And one of the services which is provided by the internet is what we call the electronic mail. We have the electronic mail, the email. And actually now the email is one of the most popular internet services. It allows you to send messages from one person to another simultaneously. That is what the email, a method of exchanging information electronically. The word. For example, in case you want to send maybe a message to your friend who is in the US, you can just use the email. It's very, very convenient. It's less expensive. It's very, very fast. That is what an email. Another service which is provided by the internet is what we call the e-commerce. The e-commerce or the online shopping. You can buy goods and services on the internet. You can buy goods and services on the internet. For example, in case you want to buy a laptop online, you can just visit Jumia and you just order your package. You can just visit Kilimall. That is what we call the e-commerce. You can order goods and services or online. Then still, you can have what we call entertainment. That is self-explanatory. You can have entertainment. The internet allows you to review the current movies and music. For example, in case you want to stream live football, you just go to the internet. Still, is a service. Still, the internet provides information. For example, in case you want to review some magazines, some academic papers, or some projects, or some other research information, you can just get the information from the internet. Still, we can have the research. For example, in case you want to review some information about past research by other authors, you can just get this information from the internet. Still, we can have what we call the chat groups. We have the social sites. For example, we can have the Facebook, can have the Instagram, whereby you can exchange information and you can exchange messages between different people. So these are some of the services which are provided by the internet. We have web conferencing or the video conferencing. I've just discussed that. So these are some of the services. Still, we can have what we call the discussion groups. You can join discussion groups on the internet and meet people of the world with similar interests based on various topics. Now, Delik. Hello, Delik. Derek. We just discussed some of the services which are provided by the internet. Is it true? Now, which are these services? Just give me 3 services I've just discussed concerning the internet. The services which are provided by the internet. Just give me 3. Yes? Derek.
Yes.
I've just discussed about the services. Is it true? Which are provided by the internet. Which are these services? Just give me 3 services provided by the internet. Just give me 3 services.
Electronic mail.
Yeah, that is one. Now, what about electronic mail? Just elaborate about the electronic mail.
It allows one person to send services, email services from one sender to another.
Yeah, that is correct. Just give me another service.
Web conferencing.
Yes, web conferencing, or what do you call the video conferencing? What about it?
You can meet up with people virtually.
That is correct. Yes, another service I've discussed.
I had of live streaming. live streaming.
Yeah, you can use live streaming. You can have it can be in terms of the web conferencing or the internet or the what you call the entertainment. Is it true? Yeah. So
Yes.
these were some of the services which are provided by the internet. So creating.
Yes.
Yeah, I have discussed some of the services which are provided by the internet. Just give us other three services I've discussed.
Okay, e-commerce.
Is what about the e-commerce now, or what you call the
Uh,
online shopping? Just explain the e-commerce.
okay, people are able to trade online.
Yes. What else?
Research.
Yes, research. What about research?
The internet offers a service where you can search things online.
Yeah, so you can obtain history. You can research about with academic papers or other information on it.
Yes.
That is correct. Yeah. So the next subsection, I want to now we discuss now the advantages of the internet. Together, the advantages
Mhm.
of the internet. Now, which are these advantages of the internet now? Otieno,
Yes.
even before I discuss the advantages of the internet, I know you know its advantages. Is it true? Maybe just give me two advantages before we discuss them.
Advantages. So one of the advantages is education and research,
That is one. Another one,
um, entertainment,
yeah, still entertainment that can be a benefit. Yes. What else?
buying and selling of goods
So you can
through the
have the
internet.
e-commerce. Yeah, you can have the e-commerce because now when using the internet now you're able to buy products also together every day, anytime, any together. So maybe I can discuss now the advantages. And one of the advantages of the internet is what we call the email. Together, see the email is one of the services because now the email is an essential communication tool for all the users. Together, you're able to exchange information between various users around the world. Wow, that is one of the advantages. And you know the email is what less expensive. Is it true?
Yes.
Still the email is what convenient because
Convenient.
now you can just open the email at any time together.
Yes.
And still we have what we call information. Still is not a benefit. Actually, now we see that the internet is a what a repository. Why? The internet contains what a lot of information. For example, if you want to know even the meaning of your name, and it is the internet, is it true?
Mhm.
So that internet is a what a repository. You can obtain information about every subject. Still, the internet is able to provide what other services together. For example, nowadays you have what we call the online banking. Is it true? Is it true? So you have online banking. Have online games. You can even for example, if you want to search for a job, you can just search for a job or online. So
Online.
these are services. Then still you can have entertainment altogether. And think nowadays even you can download some music, even some movies online. Still you can play some games online. Is it true? The form is what
Yes.
part of the entertainment. Still we have what you call the buying and what the selling of products, the e-commerce. Because now the internet is a global market whereby now you can
Market.
buy and you can sell products. And I think, for example, we have like Jumia, we have Kilimall. Is it true? Whereby you can buy
Mm.
products. I think some years back we had what we call the OLX. Is it true? For
Yes.
example, in case you had a TV set and you want to, and maybe you like to sell it, you can just go to the TV set, indicate the specifications, and you post the image on OLX. Is it true?
Yes.
Yes.
Still, we have what we call the online chat. Is it true? Because now you can discuss about you can chat with your friends either by using Facebook, by using WhatsApp. Is it true? You
Mm.
can have
Yes.
call you can have what we call education and what and research. The internet makes it possible for the researchers or the students to conduct their research work without having what to go to the libraries. For example, like now you're at home, you have access to the library. But now we have the internet. You can conduct your research. For example, in case I give you an assignment or a card, you can just get information from the internet. I think other. Still, it has helped more in education. And if you have had what you call the e-learning, like what we are having now, is it true? You have the e-learning,
Yes.
yeah, whereby you don't have to have the physical contact between the lecture right together. You can just conduct your running or online what you're having now. So these are some of the advantages of the internet. But still, the same internet have its what the disadvantages. Now, some of the disadvantages of the internet is what we call the virus threat. For example, in case you have your laptop, you have connected that laptop to the internet, and you have not installed an antivirus, there is a high chance that that computer will be infected by what? By malware. And you know what are these viruses? Together, you know a virus is a what? Is that malicious software or that malicious
Software.
program that is able to alter the normal function of the computer. You can have the Trojan viruses, you can have the macro viruses, you can have the boot viruses, you can have the worms together. So you have to be very, very careful. That is one of the limitations of having what the internet, the virus threat. Still, you can have what you call accessing unethical sites together. For example, you can have what you call, some people may access what pornographic sites. This has led to what you call the moral degradation. Is it true? Then you can have what you call the time usage in workplace. For example, maybe you're employed somewhere and you're supposed to be working at that time, but you have realized most of the workers now, instead of working, they just open a new tab and they start surfing. For example, you can have they start surfing Facebook, WhatsApp together. So that is what time wasted in what in workplace. By most of the employees, they spend a lot of time in the internet instead of working. Still, the internet it is expensive together. For example, just imagine in some rural areas where you do not have power. In some of these, and for you to install the internet, you must have some power. Is it true? For example, it is expensive in this manner. You require a router. That router, it must be connected to the what? To the power together. You require a nano. They must be connected to the what? To the power. Still, there is what we call the web crime. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we have what we call the web crime. We have the web crime. In terms of web crime now, anything nowadays, there's a lot of hacking which is going on. I think that every day bank accounts have been hacked, the credit cards have been hacked, everything. Together. So these hackers now they can just use the loopholes in the internet. Together. And they just hack into your smartphone. Together. And you have to be very, very careful. Sometimes you can be sent an ad together, or you can be sent an email attachment. And since you never know the origin, you cannot put the origin, you just click. And once you click now that attachment or that ad, you are able to install what? A loophole. Right together, it becomes a loophole. So that now the hack can do what? Can hack your smartphone together. So you have to be very, very careful together. I think you have heard about, have you heard about the email spoofing somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to be very, very careful. So there's a lot of web crime, there's a lot of hacking. I think you have heard about the man in the middle attack. For example, if you're sending an email to your friend, there is what you call the man in the middle attack. There is someone who can able to get that communication and is able even to answer the email before the details of the recipient. And all these things will take place in the what? In the internet. Still, there is what you call the personal information. Sometimes some people can see your personal information. For example, for these people who use credit cards online, or for these people who buy items online, the information can be what? Can be stored, or that information can be shared with what? With other people. So these are some of the limitations of having what the internet. Any question at that point? Any question?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, that is good. What about Jerry? Any question?
No.
So what have I just give me? I want now each and every student to give me two disadvantages I've discussed concerning the internet. Two disadvantages. Just state them. Two disadvantages. Getting state two. State two disadvantages.
Virus threats
Yes, that is one.
and time wastage in workplace.
And that is correct. Then Derek just give me two.
It's expensive to install,
That is correct. Then
and crime through the internet, the hackers,
that is that is good. So these are some of the disadvantages of what of the internet.
internet.
Now, yeah, that is good. Now, I want to go to another subsection still on this topic. We have some protocols that use the internet. Is it? I think we have covered some protocols before in the network unit. Is it true? We have some internet protocols. Have you come across the term what is an IP address? What is an ARP? We have the HTTP. We have TCP. We have UDP. I think you have come across them some. Is it true?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we discuss these protocols which are used in the internet. We have we have what we call. No, what is a protocol first? A protocol, these are set of rules or communication rules across the internet. Set of communication rules within the internet. And one of the major protocols is what we call the ARP. The what? The ARP. Have the ARP. The ARP means the address resolution protocol.
Protocol.
Yeah, the ARP. We have the address resolution
Protocol.
Yeah. Now for this one, it enables the packaging of IP data. It enables the packaging of IP data called Ethernet what packaging. Enables the packaging of IP data into Ethernet what packages. Now, in the case you're using the ARP, you're able to find the Ethernet or the hardware address from what? A specific IP number. For example,
excuse me, sir. Can you repeat what you've just said?
About the ARP?
Yes.
The ARP is what we call address resolution protocol. Together. Now, this ARP, it enables the packaging or to bring together the IP data into Ethernet packages. Together into Ethernet packages. Are you together? It enables the packaging of IP data into Ethernet packages. For example, in case you're having a specific IP data, in case you're having a specific IP data, and you want to find the Ethernet or the hardware address, you can just use the ARP. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have said if you have a specific IP data, but you don't have the Ethernet or the hardware address, you can just use what the ARP. That is one of the Internet protocols. Then there is what we call the TCP. And what is TCP? Transmission Control what? Or Transport Communication Protocol. Now this is what we call, it is a reliable connection protocol. It is used to control the management of application level services between what computers. Still, the TCP can be used to do what? To transport some of the it can be used to transport data between what applications. And the reason we are saying it is reliable, it always provides what? A feedback once the information have been sent. Then still you can have a protocol like the FTP. And I had explained the FTP initially. And we see that the FTP is what we call the file transfer protocol. And we said that the FTP, it enables the transfer of data between two computers. But now, for you to transfer data between these two computers, we must have what? A login together. So you have to log in. We can have like Telnet. Then still, there is what we call the HTTP. Every time you open a website, you have that part, the HTTP, you have the / colon, then you have the www, the hypertext transfer protocol. Now, the work of this protocol is to communicate between what? The web servers and the web browsers right together. Remember, you see that this information, it is kept in a web server somewhere. Is it true? Is it true?
Yes.
You said we have the web server and we have the web browser. Now, for us now to transfer information from the web server to the web browser, we have to do the HTTP. Yeah, so it allows the communication between the web server and the web browser. Then we can have a protocol by the name the UDP. The UDP. The user datagram protocol. We have the what? The user datagram protocol, the UDP. Now for this one, it is unreliable. Remember you say that the TCP is what? It must provide what? A feedback. But now, in terms of the UDP, it is what? Unreliable. It is used to control the management of application services for the computers. Together. Yeah, still, the UDP performs the same functions like the TCP, but the only difference between the UDP and the TCP is that the UDP is what? Unreliable. It will not provide a response or a feedback once the information has been understood.
Yes.
Yeah, so the applications must provide the own information once they are delivered together. Yeah, so there is no response. Then we can have what we call the DHCP. The DHCP, the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Now, I think this one is not a new term to you. What is DHCP? What is DHCP? Cover this one in networks.
DCP.
Yeah.
DHCP is a method of assigning and controlling the IP address.
Yeah, that is good. Together. But not the DHCP, it assigns the IP address right together.
Automatically,
It is
yes.
able, yeah, it is able to assign the IP address automatically. Remember, we have the static right together. We have for the
Yes. Static.
yeah. Can see Samson is here. Samson, good morning. Samson, Samson. Yeah, so that is all the DHC, the DCP. Then we can have what we call the RIP. We have the RIP, the routing information flow protocol. Together, the work of
Yes.
now the RIP or sometimes we call it the RIP. Together, it is used to update the router together, and now they must update automatically. Together, they must do what? Update the
Update
router
automatically.
automatically. Then you can have other protocols which are used for the email. You can have the post office, the POP3, the POP3, the post office protocol version 3. So you can have the IMAP, have what the IMAP, the Internet Mail Access protocol. You can have the USPFA, have the Telnet. You can have even what the Bootstrap Pro protocol. Have the Bootstrap Pro protocol. Now there are subsection. You're supposed to discuss you're supposed to discuss what you call the client server architecture. We have the client server architecture. Yeah, just a minute. I help Samson. He's sending a message. Chat together.
Yes.
Yeah, just a minute. I help him to reconnect. Now, I want to discuss what we call the client server architecture together. Remember, the client server architecture, you have a server and you have what? Client computers. And now in the client server architecture, you realize that most of the information is kept in the servers. Most of the information is kept in the servers, and you have the client computers. Now, in the client server architecture, you must have what we call the centralized administration. You must be having a network administrator who is able to govern and manage what that network. I think that now,
Yes.
what is a server now? You must be knowing what is a client and what is a server.
Server.
A server is that much more of computer. They must be having faster processor together. It must be having what? Faster processors.
Processor.
They must be having a large memory and several what the disk drive. And they must be powerful. They must be what powerful together. Remember, every
Yes.
computer can be a server. But now, what varies is what the specifications. We have said that for this server, it must be having what? Faster processor together. It must be having what? A large memory. It must be having several what disk drives. Now, a client now is that computer that is able to log on that network and take advantage of the resources on what on that network. Now, what are the advantages of having the client server architecture? Derek, in case now, for example, maybe you have an organization and you have decided to use the client server architecture. Which are these benefits, Derek? Just give us one of the advantages.
The advantages.
Yeah,
For me,
yeah.
I think the data will be accessible easily and efficiently.
Yes, that is correct.
Another one.
Yeah, maybe now one of the advantages of having the client server architecture is that it can be used in an organization whereby we're having more than 10 new users. But in case in the organization we have many people in the organization, can just use what this architecture.
Architecture.
And another advantage is that all the data is stored in the servers. So there is what we call centralized administration. Together, we must be having that administrator to manage what that data. In case the client requires information, he must be given permission, or he must be the administrator must give him the permission to access that information. That is what another advantage. And now another benefit is that the information is readily available. In case you have every user who requires information, you can just get the information. Another benefit is that Since we are using them, that they, you have just seen that the equipment are very, very powerful. So there is what we call efficient access to the information. So these are some of the advantages of having the client server architecture. Now, what are the limitations or the disadvantages of this architecture? One of the limitations is that it is very, very expensive. Altogether, it is expensive to procure the servers, to procure the client computers. Still, it requires skilled personnel to operate what? This architecture. Another limitation is that if the clients simultaneously request the data from the servers, sometimes the server will get overloaded. So there is all the congestion in holding the network. Now, another disadvantage is having this architecture. What if now the server fails for any reason? So you realize the request would be what fulfilled. So this leads to what, to the failure of what, this network. So you see that is what, very, very expensive to install what, this net or this architecture. Now, I think I'm through with what we are supposed to cover today. Any question?
No.
Really? Yeah, were you able to hear me very well?
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask some questions now, because now I want to give you some work in the discussion group. Right together, I want to give you some work. Any question?
No.
What about Derek?
No.
Yeah, no question.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be asking you some questions. Right together. Let me start with Derek. No, what have you understood today, Derek? Derek,
Repeat.
I'm asking, yeah, for what you have
Mhm.
covered today, what were you able to
Yeah.
understand? Yeah, I want to hear.
As we started, I came to understand what is a terminal,
Yeah,
page, bookmark,
I can hear you.
internet protocols, the advantages of the internet,
Yeah,
advantages, and we've reached
yeah, what else?
the
Derek, I can't hear you.
those are the topics I've understood.
Yeah, that is good. What about Jerry? What have you understood today?
Okay, I've understood the various terminologies used in internet and
Yes.
the requirements. Yes,
Requirement of
and
connecting to the internet. What else?
pardon, the services provided by internet, advantages and disadvantages of internet, and various internet protocols.
Yeah, that is good. And now, what were your limitations? I know what were your limitations in the class? Hmm? Strategies. What are the strategies?
Poor turnout.
Yes.
Poor turnout.
Or poor network.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is one, because now you have to ensure that next time, wherever you are together, you ensure that there is good network coverage together.
Yes.
Yeah, what about Derek? What were your strategies?
Challenges.
Yeah, Derek,
Yes,
what were your strategies?
I have one.
Yes? Oh, you know what?
Uh,
Now,
yes.
before you, I want to give you some a question here, but you're supposed to discuss it. Now, and remember you're supposed to have a project. Is it you're supposed to have project recent? Is it true?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the one who is going to take you to the project. So you have to we'll discuss all that together. Then remember you have another class today. We have advanced computer support right together. Yes, Derek.
Yes.
We have that class. You have that class, so you ensure you are ready even at that time. We're together.
Okay, sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Oh, we are doing debate. We are not doing that unit.
Or you are which group? Credit.
Debating. Debating.
Oh, when you are the BIT,
Mm.
that is for just for the BIT. What about Derek?
Oh, I'm also debating.
Oh, yeah. In case you are debating, you're not taking that unit. I thought you had BIT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I hope you are. But I hope you are taking the advanced computer support. Is it true? Are you taking that advanced computer
We are not doing that.
support? Oh, that is okay. So now I can see we have but you came late. But now what I think I have said what you're supposed to discuss. You're supposed to discuss the objectives of the FTP together. What the objectives of what of FTP together? Yeah, I'll be. I want to hear your responses, your feedback. I will be confirming that on the chat group together to discuss the objectives of having what an FTP, the file transfer protocol. Right together, Jerry.
Yes.
Otieno.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I think have you seen it? Yeah. What we
Let
are
me
discussing
check.
now. Yeah, the objectives of having an FTP. I'll be confirming the responses. I'll be confirming the responses. So I want to read the class now, the chat room class. Right together, the video conferencing. So I'll be confirming the responses. Right together. Hello. Yeah.
Are we supposed to discuss now?
Yeah, I want to discuss now. You give me the responses together. I'll be confirming the individual response together. I want to discuss now together. Yeah, on
Okay.
that I have said. I want to see the objectives of having an FTP. I'll be confirming. Yeah. So Batty, good morning. Batty, can you hear me?